Altcoins are waking up, with many altcoins seeing significant price increases over the past 24 hours. And all this at a time while the Bitcoin price isn't really moving, and the Bitcoin dominance started to fall off the face of a cliff. This is exactly what we've been waiting for, because it shows us that the altcoins are starting to play catch up with Bitcoin. And this is just the start. I'm going to show you a number of key charts in this video that prove it. If you're starting to get excited by what you've seen in the altcoins right now, this is nothing, because what happens next is going to absolutely blow your mind, and I'm going to share it with you in this video. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now guys, before we dive into all of the charts and understand exactly why the Bitcoin dominance has topped and why we're about to see aggressive growth across the altcoin markets, let's just take a moment to look at crypto bubbles. Because over the past few weeks and months, it's been a pretty difficult time to be in crypto. We've been buying the dip, we've been buying into the markets, but markets have been choppy, they've been going sideways, and many altcoins have been down. This has been painful, but if you've been studying the macro and you've been understanding what's going on, you've been waiting for this moment, and I want to just take a moment to congratulate you on making it to this point, because this is when things suddenly start to get exciting, and you're going to be rewarded in a big way for what you've been learning over the past few months. And if you haven't really been sure what's been going on over the past few months, and you want to know a little bit more about which altcoins to be getting into over the bull market to be able to maximize your gains, and to understand exactly what's driving the crypto market through ups and downs, then make sure you're subscribed to the House of Crypto with the notification bell turned on. Right, where were we? Well, we were about to talk about why the altcoins are just starting to see their move towards the upside. And I'm going to do this with the use of 3 charts, 2 of which you've probably seen before and 1 of which I don't think you have. Now, jumping back to a video that I made yesterday where Bitcoin was sat at around $109,000 and I said that it was due to break towards all-time highs, and obviously it has done. I was expecting it to perhaps break clear beyond all-time highs, but we're sat there right now. Things are starting to look a little bit more positive. You see, people were feeling full of disbelief, and now people are starting to believe once more. And why are they believing? Not only has Bitcoin been rising a little bit, but actually a lot of altcoins have started to see some growth as well. Large cap meme coins like Pengu up 26% today. Sui, which is my biggest bag in crypto, is up a whopping 5.5%. XRP is up 2%, and a bunch of other altcoins are seeing strong moves as well. So why are they moving if Bitcoin isn't? Well, if we jump across to the second chart that you've probably seen before, because it's all anyone's had to talk about over the past few weeks and months, then we'll start to see why this has been happening. You see, this is the Bitcoin dominance. It's the percentage of the total crypto market cap that Bitcoin makes up. And as you can see, throughout the last few years, since the bottom of the bear market, Bitcoin has been going up, and so has the Bitcoin dominance, which has been pretty painful for us who've been pretty heavily invested in altcoins. With only a few bits of respite along the way, like this mini bull market for alts that happened at the end of last year, and one that happened in the early part of 2024. And we know at some point that it's going to do this. And this is effectively altcoin season, because what it means is all of the money starts to flood into the wider crypto market, not so much Bitcoin. Yeah, so Bitcoin tends to stall out, and then we see altcoins everywhere waking up like crazy. Now, as you can see, this kind of gets a little bit less as years go by because more and more institutions, etc., are buying into Bitcoin. But eventually, we are due to have that major push. So the question out there right now is this the top of the Bitcoin dominance? Or as many people out there are still telling you, has it still got further to go? Well, I've come across a chart which I think is going to solve this riddle, okay? Because it's going to show you that Bitcoin dominance is almost definitely top. And I came across this chart from another YouTuber called Crypto Unplugged. Make sure you go and check out their videos, much more like heavily down towards the macro stuff, but really like opening up the world of macro and showing us some stuff that really I've never seen before. And this is the Bitcoin dominance versus copper prices. Now hear me out. According to Crypto Unplugged, and this makes a lot of sense, having gone and looked and studied it myself. And this is what you should do, okay? Whenever I tell you something, don't just tell me I'm an idiot or tell me I'm right. Go and study it for yourself and make sense of why that might be right. This shows you Bitcoin dominance versus copper. Now, why does this matter? Copper prices are very closely linked to manufacturing because it's involved in a lot of electronic components, all sorts of other things around the house, whatever it might be, machinery, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when the economies around the world are doing well, they're starting to manufacture lots of things because people are starting to buy things and businesses are starting to boom because lots of money's been flowing into the marketplace. Copper demand starts to go up. And as copper demand goes up, it shows that the economy is moving into a much happier time, a much better place. And this is when we start to see risk-on conditions. What are risk-on conditions? It means that with stronger economies, banks, institutions, whatever else out there, hedge funds, are happier to go down the risk curve and start to invest more into stocks, into crypto, into real estate, whatever it might be. So, as you can see on this chart, this is an earlier indicator to the Bitcoin dominance. And over the past few years, and I have stolen this pretty much directly from Crypto Unplugged, you can see that the Bitcoin dominance goes up against copper. And then it breaks down, and then you start to see Bitcoin dominance breaking down a week or two after that in a big way. And then you start to see this, right? This is then bear market, okay? Because copper prices start to fall, Bitcoin dominance goes up because Bitcoin's falling, but altcoins are draining the market as well. You get the picture. Then what we start to see again, last bull market transition moves in here. Copper, Bitcoin dominance falls as copper starts to rally. This happens, we get altcoin season starting around here because Bitcoin dominance starts to fall around here. Now look at this chart, because this happened today. Bitcoin dominance has been going up against copper since basically the start of the last bear market. And right now, you can see today it's breaking below these lows. It's broken out of this key pattern, and this is the early indicator to tell you that that landslide for Bitcoin dominance has already started. This isn't just a minor correction like we've been seeing happening over the past kind of year or so, okay? This is just the start. And remember, it's led by the Bitcoin dominance versus copper. Who would have known? Go check out Crypto Unplugged. Pretty unreal finding there. Now, if copper tells us that the economy is starting to boom, and this is good for our altcoins, what we want to see is more economy booming, right? So what we need to go and identify is, why is the economy booming, and is this just the start of it? Well, the answer to that is obviously yes. That's why we're here. But let's understand why the economy is starting to boom. You see, if you look across YouTube, you've heard lots of people saying, oh, we need to see Fed rate cuts, and we need to see this happen and that happen before we can see altcoin season. Unfortunately, that's always been BS. And I've been telling you time and time again that that's complete BS. If you want a proof of that, all you've got to do is go back to like December, where altcoins rallied like crazy, as well as Bitcoin, when interest rates were higher than they were now in the US. And that's because crypto, believe it or not, is a global asset, not just a US asset. Yes, the US Federal Reserve is the major stakeholder in like the global economy. A lot of what they do has huge impacts on the wider markets. But ultimately, the wider markets can still have impact back the other way. And what we're starting to see right now is a lot of money flooding into the system. Okay, if you look at this chart, it shows you the net flows of money in billions of dollars around the world. The red one is the Fed, the People's Bank of China in orange, the Bank of Japan, the European Central Bank, the Bank of England. Yes, there's other banks and things around the world, but these are the major contributors to the global markets. And if you look back to 2021, this surge towards the upside is what caused the last major bull market. And right now, you're starting to see us go from negative flow towards positive flow. This is what's causing Bitcoin and the altcoins to be going up as we speak. And this is part of the 4-year cycle. Yes, everyone's like, the 4-year cycle doesn't exist. Well, just look at this chart. These are a lot of countries around the world. The green bits here on the left, before January 2021, are where they're starting to reduce interest rates and bring in quantitative easing and other positive moves like that. Then we move towards 2022, where you start to see interest rates getting pushed up. UK, US, Eurozone, etc., all the way down the list, tons of them. Interest rates go up, and this causes the bear market. After that, we start to see more green. January 2025, we're seeing green happening everywhere. While the Fed hasn't made a huge amount of cuts, they've started to reduce interest rates. But ultimately, around the world, you're seeing a huge move, a huge positive move to creating cash flow that is finding its way into crypto and creating a risk-on environment, because money flooding into the system equals manufacturing, which equals copper prices going up. You get the picture. And here it is. People's Bank of China, the world's second biggest economy. They are shoveling money into their economy like you have never seen before. This is in billions of RMB. And at my last check, there's like 8 RMB to a pound. So there's probably like 5 RMB to a dollar. You get the picture. This is a lot of effing money. Okay, this is a lot of money being printed by China. But it's not just China. The UK is doing it. Eurozone is doing it. Everywhere else is doing it as well. The US just the last ones to move on this, but it's already started to flow. And that manufacturing is also showing us something key as well, showing us something very positive. Because also, altcoins can be quite closely linked to the performance of the ISM, which is basically the manufacturing index in the US. And when this climbs over 50, it typically signals a boom is coming for the crypto markets. So while right now we've got Bitcoin at 111,000 and a lot of altcoins as well pushing back up, we are so damn early for what is about to happen. Look at this. ISM goes over 50 at the start of every major bull run. This was back in like 2012, before it transitioned into the 2013, 2014 bull market. Then you can see ISM peaks, bull market falls into bear market. Then you see again, 2016, ISM goes over 50. Then what do we see? Bull market. Finishes in 2017 at the ISM peak. You can see this kind of comes back down through. Then we get this big dip that happens obviously because of COVID. That was a bit of an anomaly, but you can see what happens after. ISM goes over 50, basically straight after COVID, and that runs us into the next bull market. As you can see, ISM is yet to get over and stay over 50. But as soon as it does, that's game over for the bears. That's bull market mania. Things go absolutely crazy from there. And just the other day, we saw ISM results coming in higher than expected. Once you start to see interest rates coming down, tariffs disappearing away, the ISM is going to start to boom. And the copper prices are showing us as well that manufacturing is stepping up. This is pretty positive to see and is why the altcoins are starting to wake up. This might seem a bit painful and a bit long to listen to, but the more you invest time in understanding why things are moving, the less you're going to be impulsive, wondering whether tomorrow's dip equals bear market, whether or not you should be still holding, or whatever else is going on. So I urge you to study this stuff and understand what I'm talking about. Question it if you want, that's fine. Go and find the reasoning why I'm wrong. Not just saying I'm wrong because it doesn't make sense to you, okay? And just to put rest to the final argument, because I've heard other people talking about this, and it's just so dumb, and it hurts me, okay? So let me just tell you this. Well, yeah, people have been saying we have to wait for interest rates. I've just proved to you why we don't. People will be saying other things. Well, we don't have altcoin season until retail come back in. Okay, first of all, I'm retail, so are you. So we're already kind of here. We're just not here in any particular volume. And ultimately, those people who come back in particular volume, what brings them back into the market? Do they suddenly just go and sit down and read an economics book one day and think to themselves, this is all making sense, I should get back into crypto? Or is it because suddenly crypto goes up and it's all over the news and then they rush back in? Crypto goes up before retail flood back in. If you think retail needs to come in for crypto to go up, then you're doing things wrong. Okay? Markets move initially, not because of you and me buying them. Typically, people are buying them because they're going up. Money floods in, smart money invests, market makers pump the price, things start to go along, VCs, institutions inject more money in, pushes higher and higher, retail FOMOs in, and then like the last kind of newbies kind of enter into the market and they just kind of enter in at the top while everyone else is trying to sell them the bags like crazy. That's basically it. Right now, you're in a pretty damn good position because we've got Bitcoin at all-time highs. We know this is just the start of kind of like altcoin mania happening right now in front of us. And we've still got some fantastic prices across the board because the total 3, which is the crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, is stacked up and ready to break out at this key area. So things are about to wake up and it's going to get very exciting. But it's probably not going to get exciting for your entire crypto portfolio. Let me just jump across to look at my crypto portfolio. And there are a few that are missing from here right now. Now, if you were yet to enter into crypto or you have some money sidelined, which of these coins right now would you be like, I want to go and buy? If you tell me Pengu, okay, go and give yourself a bit of a slap because you are completely wrong. Okay, if you want to go and ape into the biggest green bubbles today, you've not learned anything over the past few months that have got you into trouble. Okay, because you're buying coins that have already pumped, that have already been pumped and already people have been buying them and whatever. Now people are starting to want to take profits and you're thinking about going and buying. No, okay? You want to be entering into the coins that are yet to see all that upside. Now, what happens when this breaks out is pretty evident to me. Okay, we're going to see what we saw back in November. And if you can remember all the way back to this time, what we saw in that first week or two was Bitcoin rally like crazy, XRP rally like crazy, Cardano, HBAR. We saw like Sui going strong. We saw a bunch of other kind of larger cap coins seeing really strong runs here. Okay, now if you're already holding those, fantastic. Sit back and relax. If you're not really holding so many of them, and next week comes around and suddenly all of them go up like crazy, but you're holding like Clearpool and Lingo and Kwai and My Lovely Planet and wondering like, well, why is Pengu up 32% today and my Kwai is only up 1.5%? These larger cap coins are getting pumped up by market makers and VCs and whatever else it is right now. You've missed it, okay? If you're not holding those coins, accept that you've missed it, okay? Because next week or the week or two after, the coins that are going to be rallying like crazy, in my opinion, are going to be your like mid-cap coins. The Aethers, the Beams, the Tars AI, the WorldCoin, although WorldCoin's kind of like bordering larger cap coin, Superverse, Aptos, okay? And then after like 3 or 4 weeks of just like crazy degeneracy, you're going to see like the My Lovely Planets stepping in, the Metacades and the Brickens and the Netminds and the Lingos stepping in and doing like 100%, 200% plus in a day. It's going to take a little bit of time before the smaller caps start to rally because they require confidence in the market to step up. But ultimately, you've just got to understand that this happens in stages. If suddenly tomorrow, certain altcoins that you're holding are rallying like crazy, don't do this really dumb thing and go and sell the ones that are underperforming to go and buy the one that's overperforming. Ultimately, if you want to make moves within your portfolio, you should be selling the coins that are booming and moving the money to the coins that have been underperforming. The different way from what everyone else typically does. Okay? Try not to be emotional. Just position yourself nice and early. If you're looking into charts, different coins you're wanting to go and buy right now, go and look at the high utility coins. I keep banging on about this, that are down at lows. You started to see them starting to wake up. Why do I say this? Well, this is Aether. Okay, it's got an annual revenue of $130 million. This makes more money than almost any other project outside of the kind of big layer ones like Solana's, Ethereum's, whatever else, okay? Back to recent highs, it's got a 100% move, okay? This happened before in pretty much 2 weeks. It can happen again, ultimately, once the market flips bullish again. Market's still teetering on disbelief, but as soon as Bitcoin rallies beyond all-time highs... Also, here's the thing. If you're looking at layer ones, Sui's been booming like crazy. I've been telling you about Sui ever since like last autumn when I got into it, down around this level. I didn't even buy the best price, but I'm still pretty happy because I'm in profits. As you can see, Sui is now kind of destined to start breaking out at some point from this kind of chart pattern, and eventually it's going to run higher. But it's already seen a lot of upside. There's definitely other altcoins out there that are similar, that are kind of going to lag behind and might see better upside. Say, for example, everyone was talking about this just last week. It's then pulled back to the top of this W pattern. Looks absolutely perfect to me for a pretty decent move higher. While I think Sui goes to a much bigger market cap this bull market and is an incredible token and one that I hold my biggest bag in, and I don't even hold Say, ultimately Say is showing me all the metrics that got me really excited about Sui last year. Okay, you can see TVL booming to all-time highs. Total value locked, okay? This is a layer 1 blockchain. You want to see lots of projects developing on a layer 1 blockchain. It shows a flourishing ecosystem. See good fees being paid, stablecoin market is absolutely pumping. We saw all this happening before on Sui. You see Sui basically leveling off around here, will continue to rise in my opinion. Stablecoins still looking pretty good, having a little bit of a drop off in the last like 24 hours or so. Why do I want to continue to hold Sui over holding Say? It's a much bigger market cap. It's much more stable. In my portfolio, it holds the big market cap coin spot. Okay, that's why I hold it. I also hold lots of Ethereum as well because it's really undervalued and has very good room to run and will ultimately survive throughout whatever comes next into the future. Now guys, in the next video I make, I will talk more about specific altcoins. I will talk more about finding entries. I will talk more about if you're late to the party, what you should be doing, what you should be avoiding. I will coach you through this bull market, okay? Not with financial advice, just through what I'm doing as someone who's been in the markets for years, who's spent every single day of my life over the past 4 years studying these markets, studying the tools, understanding and trying to learn the economics, because I'm not that much of an academic, okay, so I had to try and understand it for myself. If you want to continue to learn these things, make sure you're subscribed, notification bell turned on. Also, by the way, do me a favor, just go down below, leave a comment, okay, it really helps me out. If you don't want to write anything, just leave a full stop, but hit the like button as well. Also, if you feel like there's lots of information in crypto, you're not really sure where to look, and you want to join a supportive community who's going to be sharing a lot of the different information that I'm sharing with you now, but in much more depth, as well as sharing all the different altcoin calls that we've been making over the past few weeks, coins like Pengu, before it's gone up like 400% in just the last couple of months or so, then make sure you join the Moonhouse, which is linked down below in the description. Over here, myself and 3 other full-time experts will guide you through these crypto markets, talking about macro, talking about different altcoin investments we're doing. We'll have a live Zoom call once every week that you can also join in, and there's a supportive community where you can ask different questions as well as commenting your findings on the market and share your altcoins that you want to see get more airtime in there as well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.